Hello everyone, this hour on Verbling, the next in my Getting Results in Business series. We're working on our unit. We're pretty much in the middle of our unit on how to motivate and how to talk about motivation. Today we're going to be working on key expressions you can use to make small talk, which is usually the context in which you talk about your motivation, how things are going at work and that kind of thing. Okay, more about that in just a minute. First, a bit about me. I'm Jon-Eric, your Verbling teacher for this hour. I'm an American teacher from New York, hanging out in Lisbon, Portugal to bring you this class. By the way, here are 3 quick rules to help you participate in my class. Don't forget to turn off, tune in, and open up, which means turn off your microphone when you're not speaking so that we can keep the classroom nice and quiet. Tune in to the new words that you're learning when you are speaking so I can give you feedback and correct you. And last but not least, open up to your classmates. Relax and have fun. We're all here to learn, and this is a safe and respectful place to practice your English. And that is a bit about me. Let's find out a little bit about you. Oh, wait, I can't get my camera on. There we go. So, I'm going to give you something is going on with Verbling because I can't even see the class right now. Let me see if I can reload the page and get back to my class. Hold on a second. I don't know what's going on with Verbling. Something's acting strange. Let me give you the link if you don't have it, and then we'll get started. Oh, there's no link. Uh-oh. Hold on a second. Let me go to yesterday's class. Nope. You know what? For some reason, the link has disappeared to the material. So if you give me a second, I'm going to quickly go into my Google Drive and give it to you again right now. Because we're going to be doing something new, so you don't have the presentation that we did yesterday. I mean, that we're doing today. You have the one from yesterday. Give me just a second. While everyone's arriving, give me just a second to get you the link. You know what it is? I think it's because I'm using Firefox today instead of Chrome that everything's acting weird. Okay, let me go to oh, I am using Chrome, so I don't know what's going on. It's not Firefox. I thought I had a theory. I was wrong. Hold on. Okay, let me go to Business Results, Unit 2, How to Motivate, and I'm opening it right now, so it'll take a second. I'm going to share my screen with you anyway. You don't have to open this, but I like to give you a chance to download this so that it's a little bit easier for you. All right. Well, there we go. Got it. Don't got it. Hold on. One more time. Let's try it again. Okay, let me see if I can get the URL. Nope. Nope, it won't let me give you the URL. So, what can I do? I don't know. So forget it. I'm just going to have to share my screen. For some reason, I can't pass the URL to you right now, so I don't know what's going on. So I'm just going to share my screen, and after class, I can send you the link, but I can't get it to work. Okay, so let's do that. Let me go back here. So this is the unit we've been working on, everyone, how to motivate. In this unit, we're talking about motivation. So we've learned 2 sets of good vocabulary words to help you talk about motivation. We'll be talking about how to make small talk, and we'll actually be doing it. We'll learn some skills to exit a conversation in a polite way, and we'll be revising question forms later in the unit. Today, we're going to work on business communication skills, which is making small talk. That's our objective. Okay, so let's begin here. Making small talk. I've got some tips for you to read through. You're going to read through these, and we're going to discuss as a class which you think are the most useful. Afterwards, here, we're going to be doing what we always do in business communication skills. We always need to listen to get our key expressions in a real context. So you need to really listen to a conversation and pick out how they're using the language. So we'll be doing that in the second part of the class. Okay? But let's start here. Let's go around, read a tip, and when we get to number 10, we're going to decide which 5 out of the 10 do we think are the most useful and why. So in my screen, it looks like it's Yuki, Jason, Giuseppe, and Abraham. So we're going to go in that order, starting with Yuki, okay? If you want me to make the screen a little bigger, I can try to make it a little bit easier to read. Can you see that okay, Yuki?
Yes, I see.
Okay, fantastic. So start us off, please.
1. Introduce yourself and use a tagline. For example, hi, I'm Jude. Just a minute.
It says Jules from Munich.
Yes. I'm Jules from Munich. And this can get the conversation started as your colleague can ask a question about your hometown or your trip.
All right, so keep in mind, this is the tagline. We've got different strategies. The first is a tagline. I'm Jules from Munich, right? You're setting yourself up to be asked a question about Munich or about where you're originally from. Okay, so tagline is the first one. Okay, Jason, keep going. Number 2.
When your colleagues introduce herself, try to repeat his or her name when you reply, or use their name later in the conversation.
Okay. So this is the mirror strategy. Or the echo strategy. Try to repeat his or her name. Okay? So I think that's probably our way of personalizing the conversation. Okay, Giuseppe, let's try number 3.
Break the ice with a comment about current news story or a remark about the event, you're at, its location, and the weather.
Okay. Have you heard that before, the expression breaking the ice?
Yes.
All right. Just making sure it's clear. Okay, Abraham, let's try number 4.
Avoid these topics of conversation: your health, your private life, gossip. The best conversation topics are sports, books, theater, how to pronounce it? I don't
Theater.
know.
Theater. Uh-huh.
Theater.
Uh-huh.
Movies, foods, museum, and travel.
Okay,
Try and find.
Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. Try and find a shared experience or something else you have in common.
Very good. Okay, so far we've got the tagline, we've got the echo, we've got breaking the ice. Oh, sorry, Copanto, I can't hear you because you've got some microphone problems. Okay, if you need to, leave the Hangout and re-enter. Sometimes that fixes the audio problems, or just turn on your mic when you get it fixed. Okay. So let's go back to. I think he's having microphone problems. So let's go back to Yuki for number 5. I think we're on 5 now.
Number 5. Keep the conversation flowing.
Yeah. Flowing.
Keep the conversation flowing by not monopolizing the conversation. Ask a question and really listen to your colleagues' reply. Then respond with comments from your own personal experience and ask another question.
Well, that's kind of what we practiced in the last hour, to be honest with you. So it's sort of passing the ball. It shows that you're listening. So we've got the tagline, the echo, breaking the ice, avoiding taboo topics, and keep the conversation flowing. Okay, so we're going to decide in the end which are the most useful. Jason, let's go on to 6.
Ask open questions which require more than a one-word answer. If your colleague asks a yes or no question, give some extra information.
All right, so don't let yourself, do you like this? Yes. Don't let yourself be shut up too quickly. Remember the technique from the last hour we talked about. Just go through question words in your mind if you're not sure what to say. How do I feel? Where is it? What's happening? Whatever you have to say. Think about those speaking skill strategies in the last hour since you were both here. Okay? We're on to Giuseppe for number 7.
Sounds like and phrases like really can be used to indicate that you're listening and interested, and will encourage your colleague to tell you more.
Okay, good. So these little connectors of there's a name for these, but I've forgotten. These little I just forgotten the name of these things. But anyway, these kind of connectors, they're different in different languages. Like maybe in French you might say Maybe in English that would sound a little strange. So you've got to say So it sounds. Go ahead, Jason.
You say her?
Yeah, you kind of hear people say, je ne sais pas.
Yeah.
Right? So to express, it's really to express a feeling. But in the beginning in English, you have to use the English connector words or expressions or sounds. And it's unnatural at the beginning. But you just have to make it natural, basically through a habit. Just get used to it. Because it will sound right, even if it doesn't sound right to you. So, really? These kind of things. And it's different in America than the UK, than it is in Ireland, than it is in India. So different Englishes have their own key expressions. Another thing to keep in mind. Okay, we're back to Abraham for number 7.
Share information about yourself, but keep it positive. People don't like colleagues who are negative, depressed, or who complain a lot.
Colleagues. Repeat. Colleagues.
Colleagues.
That's it. Keep it positive. Okay. And we're back to Yuki for 9 and Jason for 10.
Sorry. 9. Remember your exit strategy. Have some phrases ready for excusing. Sorry. Have some phrases ready for excusing yourself politely and moving to another group of people. For example, it was nice talking to you. I'll see you later. A translation word.
Wait. Not a translation word. Look again.
A transition word like
Good.
well can also communicate that it's time to stop.
Okay, very good. So again, it's just a matter of, we all have these words and sounds that mean things in our culture. So it's a matter of getting used to the English ones. Even if they don't feel right to you, they will sound right to a native speaker. So the first thing out of your mouth in most languages is, well, alors, or allora, or bueno. So you've just got to replace that with well. And it'll sound strange in the beginning, but you'll get used to it. So they're calling them transition words here. So maybe we can use that expression ourselves. All right. Let's go on to last one. I think we're on to Jason for number 10.
Well, if you enjoy talking with your colleague, tell them so. I really enjoy talking with you. I hope
E.g., for e.g., you could say for instance.
oh, for instance, I really enjoy talking with you. I hope we have a chance to talk again soon. Leave a positive final impression with a smile and strong handshake.
Okay, there you go. So making a lasting impression is probably the way to sum up number 10. Let's say a quick hello to. Hold on a second. Okay, you fixed the microphone, right? Why don't you say hello to the group, Copento?
Hello to everyone.
Hi. What's your name? Is it Copento? Or is that your...
No, this one is my nickname. My name is Antonio.
Antonio, from Italy.
Yes, from Italy. That's all
Just
right.
a guess. Just a guess. So,
Yes.
Antonio, we're talking about motivation in a business context, how to talk about motivation, and one place talking about how you feel about your job, how motivated you are, is when you're making small talk with people. Do you know that expression, to make small talk, Antonio?
I think it's when you just start to talk to your colleague about something not related to the work but to other things.
Absolutely, that's it. When you're talking about quotidian things, everyday things.
Everyday
Absolutely.
things. Yes.
That's it. That's it. So we're going to be working on small talk skills, but in the context of talking about motivation at work, or being motivated or being demotivated, because that's what the unit is about, expanding your vocabulary for motivation. So we've just read 5 important points, or pieces of advice, I should say. As a group, we have to decide which 5 we think are the most useful. Okay? So, Antonio, for this part, if you weren't following, don't worry. Just follow along for now, and we're going to use this advice in the next part, and you can participate more in that. So, class, out of these 10 pieces of advice, which would you say are the 5 best, in your opinion?
I have to answer.
Well, you weren't here in the beginning, so just follow along for a moment. Okay, Antonio?
Yeah, all right then.
Okay, so everyone, as a class, which do you feel are the most important points?
I think most important point is the first one. Introduce yourself.
Right.
And use the tagline. Without it, you can't begin your conversation with anyone.
Okay, very good. It's not just introducing yourself, but introducing yourself with a tagline.
Yes.
What would your tagline be, Yuki?
For example, tagline means.
But what would yours be specifically? What would you say is your tagline?
Goodbye. See you. Some kind.
As a tagline? Oh, wait a second. Tag is like when you go to buy clothing, there's a tag on the clothing which identifies the price, the manufacturer, not the manufacturer, the producer, right? So tag is like an identification tag. That's what they mean by tag here. My tagline would be, "Hi, I'm Jon-Eric from Verbling. I'm an online teacher."
I see.
What would your tagline be?
For me, or for,
yeah, for you personally.
For me, yes, kind of you. Hi, I'm Yuki. I'm from Japan.
That's good enough. You could say, "I'm Yuki from Japan," and that's a tagline. You can also say what you do. You've got to keep it really short. You know, I'm Yuki, a teacher from Japan, for example.
Yes.
Right. So your tagline kind of gives bait. You know, when you go fishing, you have to put bait on your fishing hook, right? So you're trying to bait the other people into asking you further information. So whatever you can put out there as bait, will get you. It'll put you in a situation where you can talk about something that you're comfortable talking about. That's what I mean by baiting. All right. So Jason, what do you think? I just want to, as a class, we don't have to go in any order, but as a class, we were going to decide what's the most important. So Yuki says taglines. Do you agree or disagree, Jason? And what would you add to the list?
Yeah, I would be rather agree with that. But I would say another important thing is to say the name of the colleague.
Okay.
Yeah,
So that's point number 2. You think is important as well.
yeah.
We're calling that the echo. So whatever they say, kind of repeat it back. And I agree. Why do you think that's so important? Why do you think that's more important than the other points?
Because if you are not used to call to calling your colleague by his name or her name, you can call him, and after that you would have you might have difficulties to talk with her or he.
What kind of difficulties do you think you might have? When you say difficulties, what do you mean?
If you want to talk with somebody, you have to call by her name or his name. If you don't know his name, you might be in little trouble.
So, when you say trouble, do you mean that there would be something awkward in the conversation? Is that what you mean by trouble?
Yes. Yeah. I think.
Okay, good. So, in other words, if you personalize the conversation by using their names, you should create a kind of friendliness and a kind of connection with the person. Sounds good. Jason, how do you feel about that? Jason, Giuseppe, how do you feel about that? Do you agree?
Well, I agree because it's a way to be polite.
Sure.
With the colleagues or fellows.
Would you put that in the top 5, or and if so, what would you add?
But I don't think it is the most useful, because I think we could add avoid these topics. The number 4.
Okay.
Because you don't know the person you are talking the first time, and then probably the best way to make a conversation is to talk about topic relating to the context, to the situation.
Okay, very good. Let me just add something here, Giuseppe. So if we're talking about avoiding things, right? If we're talking about avoiding things, it would be a good chance to use a conditional. In other words, oh, by the way, I just saw Shu out there on the Verbling chat window. Shu, come on into the class. There's plenty of space. He's talking about fillers. I didn't see it before. Sorry. Giuseppe, look. If you start your conditional like that, well, if you don't avoid topics like your private life, what would, could, or might happen? In other words, here, Giuseppe, you can use a second conditional because we're talking about what might happen, what could happen if you start talking about less appropriate things the first time you meet someone. So say again, but use a conditional here.
Well, if you don't want to be impolite,
impolite, right?
You might use topics relating to the context, or relating to the person. I mean,
and if you talk about gossip, what could happen? What might happen? What would happen if you talk about gossip? How might you come across? How could you come across?
Maybe you come across in a different way. And I mean, you could be impertinent.
Ah, okay. You could seem impertinent.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, so that's the second conditional, right? Using a negative, but the second conditional. Would, could, should, might. Those are your key words. If you start talking about gossip, or if you started to gossip, you could seem impertinent. You might come across as unprofessional. Okay? Just pointing that out because it's a negative, so we have to speculate, and that's a good point where you can use the second conditional. What's wrong? What's wrong, Yuki? Isn't it correct to use if you didn't past sentence?
I think second conditional is if past and no.
Yeah, second conditional
Yes.
is the past. You're right.
So if you didn't, you could. No. Yeah. Yeah.
No, you're right. You're right.
Yes.
You're right. But the problem here is that in English we can mix the conditionals as well. So whenever we're speculating, we use would, could, should, might. But we could start off using the present and mix the conditional. Well,
is it completely okay to use mixed
100% okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely fine. No problem whatsoever. You can do it. It's absolutely fine. You can say, well, look, if you don't avoid gossip, you might seem impertinent. It's okay. It's no problem. The second conditional is called the second conditional and given rules so that you can learn it easily. But in reality, the language is a little bit more complex. We use the mixed conditionals all the time, but only with the meaning of the second conditional. And the meaning of the second conditional is speculating about the present, giving an alternative or imaginary present. As long as you don't lose that meaning, I think it's perfectly okay. So, yes, you can use mixed conditionals all the time.
Is that so?
Yeah.
What's the meaning of grammar? if it is.
This is grammatical. This is absolutely grammatical. We have two kinds of conditionals, real and unreal, right? Unreal conditionals can be what we call the second conditional in the pure form, if past would, or it can be mixed, so if present, as long as you then switch to would or could, should, might. Those are both with an unreal meaning about the present. So it's absolutely, by the way, grammar doesn't exist. You know, grammarians believe in grammar because it's very helpful, it's useful, but linguists don't believe in grammar in general, generally speaking.
I see.
Linguists. If you talk to Chomsky about grammar, he'll tell you it doesn't exist. Grammar is an artifact that has to do with a lot of things, but does nothing to do with the biological capacity for language. So it's a debate, but for us, it's useful. it gives you rules. I agree about that.
So
okay.
Language is very flexible, so sometimes it's denied the grammar rule.
But it's not denying any grammar rule here, though. It's not. It's perfectly grammatical to mix a conditional.
Oh.
You can't mix all the conditionals, but you can mix the first and the second so long as the result is would, could, should, might. If that's the case, sure. But we can look more in depth later. Right now, we're not quite at that stage. We can look at it more in depth later. I can do a whole grammar class on conditionals later, if you like, to make it more clear. But for this class, let's do this. I want to focus more on small talk. So keep in mind the advice that we've read about so far. The tagline, the echo, what I'm calling echoing people's names, breaking the ice, avoiding certain conversations, keeping the flow going. All right, we've got a bunch of these. What I want you to do, I don't know how easy this is going to be, but you're going to listen to 4 short conversations from the first evening of a cruise. So this is a social situation. You don't have to work with a partner. We can do it as a class. Work with the partner and answer questions 1 to 2. Well, we can do this as a class. Okay? Abraham, read the first question for us. What do we need to keep in mind?
Which is the tips in one?
Which of the tips?
Yeah, which of the tips in one are used or not used?
Right. So those are the 10 points that we just discussed. These here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And Antonio, read the second one for us, please.
Read the content. Is the content? Pardon.
Number 2.
Number 2. Have I to read only?
Yeah, just read the question for us. Question number 2, please.
Yes. Read the context above.
No, just the question. Just the question.
That's right. Yes. Is the conversation successful or unsuccessful? Why?
Very good. By the way, just repeat this for me. Successful. Repeat.
Successful.
Unsuccessful.
Unsuccessful.
Very good. So the stress, la sílaba tónica, the stress is on the first syllable in unsuccessful. But it's on the second syllable in successful.
Successful.
That's it. Very good. Okay, so that's what we're listening for. Which tips were used, and is the conversation successful, unsuccessful, and why? The only way I can do the audio is to read it to you because I can't actually play the audio in Hangout. So I may be able to give you a transcript later, but let's try it with listening first. Here we go. Here we go. So give me a second here. This is number 6. Okay. Conversation 1. Listen carefully. I'm going to tell you who's speaking. There's always going to be 2 people. Conversation 1 is between Harry and Alessandro. Harry says, "Hello, I saw you sitting at my table at dinner, but I didn't have a chance to speak with you. I'm Harry." Alessandro, "Hi, I'm Alessandro." Harry, "Who did you come with? Is this your first company event?" Alessandro, "Yes." Harry, "Well, I'm sure you'll have a great weekend. Did you see the program?" Alessandro, "No, not yet." Harry, "Oh, well, it looks very entertaining. I think there are some left at the what's this? Oh, programs. I think there are some programs left at the information desk. Are you here with colleagues?" Alexandro, "No." Harry, well, you'll soon get to know people. So, would you like another drink?" Alessandro, "No, thanks. I'm fine." Harry, well, it's been nice talking to you, Alessandro. You don't mind if I go and get myself a drink, right? I'll talk to you later. That was conversation 1. This one is shorter, conversation 2. Paolo and Sonia. Paolo says, "Hi, I don't think we've met. I'm Paolo from Napoli. I work for one of the company's suppliers." Sonia, "Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Sonia from France." Paolo, "Nice to meet you." Sonia, "So, I've heard that Naples is becoming very popular for investors these days. Is that true?" Paolo, "Well, Sonia, it's interesting that you say that because blah, 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 blah," and he goes on to talk about that. Conversation 3. This is between Sumitra and Christian. By the way, I just need to mute you for a second, Alessandro, because I'm getting a lot of noise.
I hear the noise.
Yeah. I'm going to turn off your microphone, Antonio, but when you're ready to speak, you can turn it back on, because we're getting lots of noise from your end, okay? So keep it off for just a moment. Conversation 3, Sumitra. "Hi, I'm Sumitra, based in the UK." Christian, or it's actually Krishnan. "Hello, I'm Krishnan. Sorry, where are you from originally?" Sumitra, "Well, my parents live in Calcutta. I was born there, but I've moved around a lot." Krishnan, "You're from Calcutta? No, that's amazing. My parents are from India. In fact, they're there now visiting relatives." Sumitra, "What a coincidence. Where did they come from?" Krishnan, from I can't say this, from Bhiwandi, near Mumbai." Sumitra. Bawandi. Oh, isn't that famous for its textile industry? Kristen. That's right, yes. So have you spent much time in India recently? Okay, and then they go on to have their conversation. Last conversation, conversation 4, between Adam and Adriana. Adam says, "Good evening, Adriana. I thought I might see you." I should say that again. "Good evening, Adriana. I thought I might see you. Back for another company event?" Adriana. "Oh, Adam, how lovely to see you here. I heard you weren't coming." Adam. "Really? Who told you?" Adriana. I can't remember. But anyway, how are things?" Adam. "Oh, Adriana, where should I begin? I injured my leg in January in a skiing accident. The doctor told me to take it easy. But how could I rest with my job? And then, and then I got the flu. But we were organizing a huge trade fair at the time, so I just had to go. It was terribly awful." And Adriana says, "Oh, dear." Adam. "Then I had problems at home with my daughter. She's 15. You know how teenagers are." And then Adriana says, "Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Look, I have to go, Adam. Catch you later." Those are our 4 conversations. Okay. So listening just one time, I want you to tell me which of the strategies did you hear being used, and which of the conversations do you think were the ones that were successful?
I think first one is not successful. In this conversation, 2 people haven't found a common language. Just asking, but answering not that theme. So
I agree. So, hang on
and
just a second.
other conversation, I think, had successful.
So 1 is not successful. I agree. The conversation fails. And you're saying it fails because why? In number 1, it fails because
firstly, they can't find common topics.
Okay. They can't find out. So the conversation doesn't develop. It doesn't go anywhere.
Yes, it doesn't develop. Secondly, one of them recommended to drink something, but others denied.
Right. Well, didn't deny, just didn't go along with it, right? So he didn't deny it, but he wasn't interested. He refused or whatever.
It seemed that they have no interest with each other.
Okay, and let's talk about the first one a little bit more in depth, just for a second. Which of the tips did you hear the first speaker use? If you go back here for a second, which strategies out of the 10 did you hear him use?
First one, I think, it was the...
Absolutely.
Number.
Absolutely. He had a tagline, didn't he?
No, he didn't use tagline.
So he did have a tagline. He did.
I think he didn't.
Well, hang on a second. Let's listen again. Hold on one second. Let's double check. Hold on.
In first conversation, there is no tagline.
One second. Let me just. Let's listen to it again. Hold on. Harry says, "Hello, I saw you sitting at my dinner table, but I didn't have a chance to speak to you. I'm Harry." Okay, so he just says, "I'm Harry." And then he says, "Hi, I'm Alessandro. Who'd you come with? Is this your first event?" Okay, yeah, you're right. He doesn't have a. You're right.
There's no tagline.
Yeah, you're right.
And he asked yes or no questions.
Exactly.
And the other part answered that with only yes or no. So he didn't say anything more about.
Right. So what could he have done, maybe, to get the conversation going? Which of these tips could he have? So he could have had a tagline, first of all. He just said, "I'm Harry." He didn't say, "I'm Harry from sales," or "I'm Harry from the UK." or whatever. What else could he have done out of this list of 10 points? What else could he have used to get the conversation going? What do you think? Like you mentioned yes and no questions. So which one of those tips could address the problem of yes and no questions? Abraham.
What was the question again, please?
You mentioned he asked yes and no questions, right? So which of these tips could he have used to avoid yes and no questions? Which of our 10 strategies could he have used?
Number 6.
Number 6, absolutely. Ask open questions.
Yes.
Use the TED questions. Tell me, explain, describe, right? Hey, could you tell me a bit about where you're from? There's tell me. How would you describe your experience at the company so far? I mean, ask them an open question, or just who, when, what, where, why, how questions. Absolutely, very good. Okay, what about conversation 2? Was that successful? Let's go back here for a second. I don't have the transcripts. So I'll keep it here on the tips page. What about conversation 2? Do you think it was successful?
I think it was successful.
I agree. It was. Okay. Do you remember what about it, particularly in light of those strategies? Do you remember what made it successful? 1 or 2 points that made it successful?
Successful in the point of 1, they have they exchange the taglines. Paolo is from Napoli, Sonia is from Paris. So, and also they maybe they repeat it maybe, no? Others
repeated the names.
Yes, yes, no.
I can take a look. Let me see. Hold on.
Maybe.
Let me just double check. I think you're right. Yeah. Yes, you're right. Yes. Paolo says, well, Sonia, it's interesting that you say that because, yeah, you're right. So they used that strategy as well. Very good. Okay. Let's try to go through the other 2 before we run out of time here. So paragraph 3. Successful, unsuccessful.
Successful.
Jason, sorry, I couldn't hear you, Jason.
Yes,
Could you repeat?
I said conversation number 3 was successful.
Okay.
Because both persons have a common topic to talk.
What was their common topic?
I thought. I remember
they're both from the same place. Do you remember where they're from?
Yeah, from India.
Right. They're both from the same place, so they got to talk about that. Absolutely. And
they said, "What a coincidence." Yeah.
Say again. Sorry.
One of them said, "What a coincidence."
What a coincidence! Oh yes. My God! Absolutely. So that would be, well, I got a question here. They have a shared experience, right?
Yes.
Do you remember which tip talked about having a shared experience?
They were talking about the textile.
No, wait. Which of these tips out of 1 to 10?
Sorry.
Number 8.
Number?
8.
That's share information, right?
Sorry.
But keep it positive. But what about a shared experience? Which tip talked about a shared experience? What to do and what not to do? Do you remember?
5.
5. Yes.
5? Really? Why?
But I just read. You have to comment from your own personal experience when people talk.
Oh, I see. Respond with comments. Okay, that's more about responding, about keeping the conversation flowing. But take a look at 4. Take a look at 4 for a moment. What do you think? Do you see what I mean in tip number 4?
They find a child. They found They found a shared experience in common.
And what did they avoid?
They avoid the typical topics like sports or books and theater, movies, or personal topics like Earth or private life or gossip.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a lot of things going on here. First, they have the shared experience. Second, it's very positive. There's no negatives here. Third, they avoided private life and gossip, but they still were able to talk about things that are personable rather than personal. So talking about where your family's from is not a secret, right? So it's still personable, but it's not personal. It's not too personal, in other words. So I think that strategy 4 is probably the best fit for why it was successful. Now, conversation 4 was the most was maybe the most obvious here. Obviously, it was not very successful. So what was wrong with conversation 4? In light of our strategies, what was wrong with it?
Conversation 4?
Yeah, the last one.
I think they already have met before.
True.
So
yeah.
it is difficult. It is easy for us to go together. And also one of them, maybe Adam, share the his personal experience recently. He recently injured his leg,
Right.
and others have a compassion with it.
Really? Because
No?
it didn't sound compassionate to me. It sounded like she was really uncomfortable. It sounded like she wanted to get out.
Maybe
So,
I misunderstood.
well, or maybe my performance skills are not what they should be. I don't know.
Sorry.
But at the very end, she has a kind of an exit strategy. She seems uncomfortable. Why do you think she might have been uncomfortable? Giuseppe, I think you were here in the class when we were reading that part, right? Do you remember the fourth, the last one?
The number 9, you mean?
No, but I meant the last conversation. Do you remember the fourth conversation between Adam and Adriana, I think it is, or Adriano? I forgot or Alessandro, I think it is. And he keeps, no, it's Adrian and Adam. And he keeps talking about his injuries and stuff. Do you remember that conversation?
No, because probably I missed that.
You missed it. Okay.
They were talking about a teenager.
Yeah, at the end. He was talking about his daughter, right? So, let me ask about his daughter, right? And Abraham, why do you think Adrian might have been uncomfortable with what he was doing?
Who was the man named Adam?
Adam, yeah, Adam.
Adam talked about his negative experiences and
absolutely right,
his loss and etc. And it was and her partner Adrian was
his partner. His partner
was uncomfortable, and with this topic, and she used the number 9.
Right.
And
exit strategy.
Exit strategy, yes.
Right, and he didn't use number 8. He should have used number 8. Keep it positive. Like, there's nothing wrong with saying that you injured your leg, but you can't just keep listing all these negative things. You've got to at least say something to keep it positive. You make people. If he had said, "Oh well, I injured my leg and I'm having trouble with my daughter," but that's life.
He was talking about only his personal life.
Exactly, excluding her.
And quite negatively.
Right.
Part of he injured the leg, he said he couldn't rest his job. And his son's tragedy. So that's why Andriana annoyed with the conversation and take an exit strategy.
Yeah, absolutely. Because basically you're excluding someone if you're just talking about yourself. And if it's negative, well, even worse. So he was excluding her, basically. What choice did she have? All right. Um, let's see here. Ahmed, thanks for joining us. You missed our great strategies about how to do small talk, but I'll give you a copy of the material. I don't have it right now, but I'll give you a copy of the material. You can take a look and do the homework and stuff. But Ahmed, what I'd like you to do is just read the context that we're going to use. Nope, sorry, wrong page. Nope, sorry. Sorry. Hold on a second.
Okay.
I got to move forward. Hold on. Here we go. Ahmed, don't do anything. Hold on. Wait.
No problem. I'm just a viewer today.
All right. So look, here what we're going to do is this, and let me just see how much time we have. Not too much time. What I want you to do is be able to go back and pick out some of the key small talk expressions, these different kinds of connectors, ways to begin, ways to make transitions, things like that. So I think what we're going to do is, we've talked about the first part enough. Let me just. Well, hey, look at that! I didn't even know I had the transcript. Look at that. Hold on. Let me go back. I think we've talked about the 4 conversations enough. I think you've got the general idea. So I'm going to move on. We're going to listen to a second conversation with Adriana. She has this one later in the evening. This time the conversation is successful. What you're going to do is number the phrases from 1 to 12 in the order that you hear them. How do the phrases help the conversation flow? How does the conversation flow? Okay, so you're not going to hear the entire. I haven't written the entire expression here, but you're going to listen and see if you can put it in order. You can write it down on a paper and just say it to me. You could write it in the chat box or whatever you need to do to remember. Okay, we're going to see how much you can get from listening to it one time, but if necessary, I'll read it a second time. Okay, so give me just a second to get my material open again. This is conversation 7. Okay, this one is a little bit long. Here we go. So this is later in the evening. The conversation is between Harry, who we met earlier, and Harry was talking to the guy who wouldn't respond. And Adriana, she was the one who was talking to Adam, and he was saying all the negative things. So now Harry and Adriana have met at the cruise in the lounge. Harry says, "Hello, Adriana. Hello, it's Adriana, isn't it? We've met before. We met before dinner, actually." Adriana, "That's right. You're Harry. Dinner was fantastic, wasn't it?" Harry, "Yeah, it was Harry, wasn't it? How are you enjoying the event?" Harry, "Very much. You know, it's good to meet people from different parts of the group. Have you been here before?" Adriana, "Yes, I have. About 3 years ago in Egypt. Were you there?" Harry, "No, I wasn't, unfortunately. I heard it was good fun." "Oh, where are you from, by the way?" Adriana, "I'm from Spain originally, but I'm working in Switzerland now. I have a 2-year posting in head office in Geneva." Harry, "Oh, I see. Who are you working with?" Adriana, "With the European HR team. I work with Ulrika Thompson." Harry, "No way! What a coincidence! I know her very well. We joined the company on the same day. It's a shame she couldn't be here. But say hello to her for me, won't you?" Adriana, "Of course I will." Harry, "So, what are you working on?" Adriana, right now we're trying to harmonize remuneration packages across the group. I'm working on pension plans myself and other savings schemes. What about you? Don't you live in Italy?" Harry, "Yes, I do, in Milan. I work in R&D, but I'm thinking of moving." Adriana, "Really? Can I ask where?" Harry, "Well, I'd like to stay in Italy, but maybe move within the group. I don't know. I'm thinking of talking to HR, actually. Apparently, they're interested in people who've worked in different divisions. Adriana. Oh, that sounds interesting. In fact, you know, I'm coming to Milan in a couple of weeks. Would you like to meet up and talk a bit more? Harry. Oh, yeah, I would. Thanks very much. Do you know Milan? Adriana. No, not really. I've just been there for meetings. Harry. Well, I'll tell you what. I'd be delighted to show you around when you get there. Adriana. Oh, thank you. That would be really nice. Harry. Good. So, do you actually live in Geneva now? Blah, 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 blah. Okay, you get the idea. So that's their conversation. What I'd like you to do, let's see after one listening if you can put those expressions in order. If you remember the rest of the expression, you can say it, but the key idea is what order do they go in and how does it help the conversation to flow? Okay? So give me just a second because I got to open my other material here so I can correct you. Give me 1 second here. Sorry, it's a little bit slow. I got to open a PDF on my side. 1 second. Okay, there we go. All right. By the way, just a quick question before we begin. What expressions did they use to show surprise? Before we talk about anything, what expressions were used when they were encountered unexpected information?
What a coincidence.
What a coincidence, right? Okay, anything else?
And really?
Really? Right? So those are probably the two for surprise. And what about, which of these expressions do you think are best for linking information together? Making logical connections. So, absolutely. Anything else?
Well,
Well, to introduce something, sure. Okay.
so,
In fact. Yeah. Okay, that's good. So, as a group, I want you to tell me, it's not going to be that easy to do this, but let's try it. What do you think goes first in this list? Speak freely.
don't you?
Don't you is A. I think A is not the absolute first expression that we heard.
Well,
B.
Well is a good idea because that usually starts the conversation, doesn't it? It usually starts a conversation. But well can also start a new topic. So it doesn't have to be the very beginning. One more try.
So.
No, so would be a conclusion, right?
by the way.
So the answer is, Jason is correct.
By the way.
It's by the way. It's by the way. I'll show you a transcript in just a minute. Okay, so I agree. So we start with B, by the way. And I think he said, by the way,
Have we met before, by the way?
Exactly. Yeah, we've met before, by the way. That's it, right? Okay, and what do you think comes second?
I see.
I is correct. Very good. I see, right? I don't remember the exact context here, but I'll show you the transcript at the end. Because even I don't remember all the details. Okay, but that's right. I was next. Okay, so that's when they're introducing each other, or he's starting a conversation. After that, what happens? Do you remember?
Don't you?
D.
Okay, why do you say D? I agree with you. Why do you say D? Do you remember the coincidence?
I remember, but I don't know what was the question about.
Okay, well, anyway, you're right. That was it. It was a coincidence. Actually, let me see if I can remember. Hold on.
They were talking about someone.
Their parents
Geneva.
from India.
No.
That's from the previous conversation.
They know the same people.
Someone in Geneva, I guess.
Not.
Good question. No, you're absolutely right. It's what a coincidence, but then I've forgotten what it is. Hold on.
Yeah, one people they know.
Oh, right. No, Ahmed, you're right. They knew someone, wasn't it? It was this Ulrika, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. They knew that.
We joined the company in the same day.
That's right. That's right. So they had this common point together. Okay, very good. That's it. Okay, and after the coincidence, what do we have? We've got just a few seconds left, so let's see if we can get through the whole list. Really is F. F is really. Let's see. We've got something before the really.
All right.
After, we worked on the same day. What a coincidence. After that. This is one, it's a little bit difficult. You have to remember the details.
Apparently, she the people
What?
players know they have in common. Is gone.
Well, let me go back for a second. Hold on a second. Yeah, it's a little difficult. You'd have to listen to this a couple of times actually, because it's too many details. So let me just go back for a second to the conversation. After what a coincidence, right? No, what a coincidence. I know her very well. We joined the company. It's a shame she couldn't be here to say hello. It's a shame she couldn't be here. Say hello to her for me, won't you? Of course I will. So, what are you working on? Right now, we're trying to harmonize remuneration packages across the group. I'm working on pension plans and other savings schemes. What about you? Don't you live in Italy? Yes, I do. I live in Milan. I work in R&D. So, at this point, there's a transition in the conversation, right? There's a transition in the conversation. So the best thing to do is, there's too many details for you to remember. You'd have to listen to it a couple of times. So the best thing to do is this. You can see the transcription on the next page, okay? So what I'd like you to do is maybe you can read through it and just figure out the order and why those particular points are in that order. So I can maybe give you a copy of this after class. You can try it on your own. Okay, just go through it and see. Just be able to identify why those key expressions are in that order. What's the purpose of each of the key expressions? That's the main thing. Okay, and in the next class, hold on. In the next class, we're going to be having a discussion topic of our own. We're going to try to keep the conversation going as long as we can using the key expressions. If you want to review them, they're here on the very last page. You can review them there. But I think the best thing for you to do is first go to this page, figure out which order they're in and what the purpose is. Second, I can give you a homework where you have to do a little bit of work with the key expressions on your own to get used to them. So I can send that to you, not now, but later tonight when I get back. I can put that together and send it to you so you have a little bit of practice. Tomorrow, we're going to try to use those expressions to keep the conversation going, and then we'll probably have time to begin the next part, the practically speaking part as well. Okay,
So,
we've got to... Yep.
So you don't have a link of this presentation document now? Yeah?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. But very soon. Very, very, very soon. Don't worry.
Okay.
Well, actually, for this one, this one I can send you the link in just a few minutes. The homework I have to put together, but I'll only be able to do that when I get back tonight around 8 or 9 o'clock. Okay? But I will later tonight. So I'll give you the homework later. Okay, I'll be back tomorrow for the next Great Short Stories class at 10 GMT and the next business class at 11 GMT. Bye for now, everyone. See you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
See you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.